Hello folks, welcome to the Night Sky Imaging YouTube channel, where tonight we are imaging the planet Jupiter, and it's too early to start the other telescope, but we will be finishing up the second night of the California Nebula. That's NGC1499, and I'm doing a two-panel mosaic, and we'll be looking at that. But right now, I need to do some hard drive maintenance on this setup that was imaging, and then it got into a buffer mode. So I'm going to have to shut down SharpCap and start it all over again. So here we go. Let me see before I do that. Yeah. So we're going to just shut it down, force it to quit. I've tried to stop the capture and that doesn't work. So we're just going to shut it down. It's caught in a loop and it's trying to buffer these frames because the hard drive was nearly full. So at any rate, I may have to force quit it. I think what I'll have to do is go to Task Manager. I'm not much of a Windows computer user, and we'll just force SharpCap to quit. And while we have this set up, we're actually going to be imaging the great red spot as it this is real time as it transits. I've already been imaging. I gotta pick up where I left off. So let me start SharpCap again, and take it a second. I don't need a tip. We'll connect our camera, and that should connect our gear. And we need our crosshairs, and so we're back going with start capture. We want Jupiter. We're doing 4,000 frames. I'm going to get another probably 40, and let's start. I have already, let's see, let's go on the 15th. Jupiter. We already have, before it started acting up, we got 3 AVI files, so we got a ways to go. And that's what we're working on. And then on the other telescope, head over there, we're going to have the second part of this mosaic. So, daggone, hang on. So last night, I was able to get the first panel. I was able to get 35 HA images that are 240 seconds long and 40 O3 that were 300 seconds. I got 30. My goal was 40. And at least at the end of tonight, I hope to have 40. And then sulfur, I'm not so interested in, but I did get 15 at 240 seconds. I get 10 out of 15. Now that's what I accomplished last night. And tonight, I want to add a lot more data to the second panel because I only was able to get 20 HA. And so my goal tonight is to get 20 more HA, and so that I have 35 in this panel, and then I'll have 40 in this panel and 15 in this panel. So that'll be roughly 5 hours per panel, 10 hours total exposure. But the nebula is so big I can't get it all in my field of view, so I have used a process called Mosaic. I'll show you how that works. Wait a minute. Let me put this to sleep, and I'll go to Tools, Framing and Mosaic, and we'll just type in NGC1499, and we'll say fetch. Okay, so here is the nebula, and when I put in my camera field of view, I miss the top of it and I'm missing part of the bottom of it in the framing. I could rotate my camera and probably get that in, but I decided to do a 2-panel mosaic. So what I'm going to do is add another panel. Let me increase my field of view to about 8 degrees. Let's try fetching this again. And now let's put our panel, our 2-panel together. And this is what I hope to be able to get from top to bottom, the entire nebula with some overlap here so that the stitching software can match the stars easily. So I want to give it a lot of room and a lot of information to do the matching and the stitching of these 2 panels so that they look rather seamless in one just big long frame. So that's the goal, and that's, I went ahead last night before I started and I created the sequence, and we can get rid of this, and it created this 2 sequences that are designed to provide that overlapping. So that's the goal. And but we can't start this until probably about 10 o'clock. We're right now only at 11 degrees, and I need to be, I'm going to start it around 30 degrees, which is maybe 29, which is 10:45. So this one's a long, long way from starting. And what I thought I would do in the meantime was to go to different parts of the sky and just have some fun looking at different things, take a picture and move on to another part of the sky. Just do some star hopping and some galaxy hopping and some nebula hopping until it's time. So let me close out the planning software, and we'll close that out, and that's it. Okay, let's go back over though to Jupiter and make sure that our capturing is working good and I'm not running into any more buffering problems. But that hard drive was almost full, and anytime it's full, it has a hard time trying to save data because it's coming in rather fast, and they're large files. These are 3 gigabyte AVI files, and it doesn't take long to fill up a hard drive that's 1 terabyte. So there we are. The great red spot is kind of hard to make out because the scene's not really good, and the focusing may not be very good either. I'm not going to fool with it because I don't think I can get it any better. But the red spot's right here. So we'll just sit here for a minute, and I want to do a couple of things though. Let's bring up our planetarium software. And I think in this case, I want to bring up Sky Safari and take a look at some targets that we can go shoot. Last night, I was able to finish Andromeda, and I was streaming live, and we've completed that project, and I've been working on it, and I'll take you over and show you that. Here's the California Nebula right here. It's extremely low in the sky. So we'll go look at the Pinwheel Galaxy, and that's M33. So let's go do that right now. We're going to head over to the other telescope, not that one, but this one, and we're going to go to framing and mosaic. We're only going to do this once, and we're going to hit M33. We're going to fetch it, and it's found it. It'll bring up an image of M33 in a second, and then we're going to draw a box around it. So there we go. We're going to create a quick sequence, and whoop, get back. We're going to move this over so we're not going to rotate, and we're going to add, not replace our targets. So that's good. And so here's M33. We're going to slew there now. And the telescope is now moving towards M33, and we'll get our outside camera. And it should be moving. There it goes. It's probably already there. It's still moving. Wi-Fi signal's not great. Okay, we're going to center. This is going to be a real multitasking night for me. I'm going to run these two telescopes, and I'm going to be watching the Florida State Clemson football game all at the same time. So if I scream, it has nothing to do with deep space or Jupiter. Florida State, which is my alma mater, has done something good. Right now, the game is tied. We're way off. We're 1,576 pixels off in RA, right ascension, and in declination, we're 600 plus pixels off. So we'll get it centered. I think it's centered now. Yep. So we're done, and we're going to take a picture of it. And let's see. Get rid of this box. It's in my way. Put that one over there. Put this one over here. All right, I'm talking to myself. Don't pay any attention, but I see things you don't. It's part of my streaming software. I actually want to get rid of that too. Every time I click on one of those, it takes me back to this other. I got to figure out how to use this better, but at any rate. All right, this is smudge here, is the Galaxy M33. So let's take about a 10-second exposure, which isn't a lot. Now I need a longer one than that. Let's take a 45-second exposure. Why is that doing that? Okay, let's see. We got 16 seconds to go on this one. It's a little better. And now I think I can do two things at one time. Let's stretch this a little bit. And let's just take another, let's make this a minute. Let's make this 120 seconds. And let's take this in, yeah, let's just keep it, the loom channel up. It's going to change filters, but we'll take a 2-minute exposure, which is a lot of time for a luminance filter, which is just a clear filter with a light pollution type filter. But as you can see, we have a lot of mush in the sky. Yeah, we don't need to stretch it anymore, or zoom. So while this is taking a 2-minute exposure, let's go over and see what Jupiter's doing. I'm going to fix this thing right here real quick. Let me that's the problem. Let's move this over here. Okay. Now we can go back and forth without adding that third page. So we just completed an image. We're starting a new capture. There are 4,000 frames. Each video will be 4,000 frames, and they're right at 40-second frames per second, so it's not all that fast. Here's the great red spot. It's really hard to make out, but it's there. I am guiding. I don't really like to guide, but I am guiding, and it's not doing all that good. So let's go back to our 2-minute exposure. 6 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. And so here we go. Well, we blew that out. Let's don't stretch this. Oh, it is a low stretch. So that's too much exposure. So we're going to stop that. There's no point in doing that. Let's bring up the green filter, and let's start a 60-second exposure. Let's take one, and then I want to head over to this planetary software program, and I want to connect my telescope, and we're going to connect. It should turn green, so it populates our current location in the sky. and that looks about right, so we can minimize that. It also shows you that my telescope is right here, and we'll spin it around. This is where M33 is, and let's see, is M33 in here anywhere? No, let's sync. Let's try M33, and then let's go telescope sync. It's not going to let me. Yeah, it will. Okay, let's head back to, I'll explain why I wanted to do that. So this is our, I don't think we took the first one, did we? Let's try it again. We're taking a 60-second exposure. Well, I guess we had to, because I guess we did take a 60-second exposure because that other one was blown out. Okay. Well, this is what one picture of M33 looks like, and that's the reason why you have to take a lot of each filter, blue, green, red, and luminance, and combine them to get a good picture of this galaxy. We're about done. 13 seconds left and counting. Yep, that was so we'll take a look at it. We'll stretch it some more. This is a 2-minute unguided picture of M33, the pinwheel galaxy. It has a swirling effect. All right, let's see what else we can go to. We might as well go see Andromeda, and that's M31. So let's slew over there. It's real close by, and you'll see telescope start moving. To Andromeda up here. Supposed to. It says the slew's complete, but I don't show it moving on the, which is unusual. So let's find out if it's complete. Let's take about a 20-second image and see if it's in our field of view. What you'll see with Andromeda is just a great big, looks like it'll be a great big star or smudge because it's so bright at the core. Yep, we haven't moved. We're still on the pinwheel. So let me bring up my guiding software and make sure it connects. All right, let's find out what's going on here. All right, we're still on M33. We want to go to M31. Right here, Andromeda. It says M10. Let's go. So let's look up Andromeda. M31. Let's find it. Now let's go there. There it goes. Now let's see if we got it in our field of view. Five, four, three, two, one. Bingo. Yep. So this is Andromeda. We'll stretch this a little bit. And this is the hot core, and this galaxy spirals like this. In fact, I'll show you exactly what it looks like. Take note of this smaller galaxy here and this smaller galaxy here. And I'll take you over to the Andromeda that I shot this week. Actually, I shot it yesterday. And here's the galaxy, and here's a small galaxy here and a small galaxy here. But this is, I took the stars out because it's a lot easier to process this without the stars. But it's a beautiful piece of sky real estate. It's one of my favorite targets. And let me find the stars here. Here are the stars. Just took them out of the picture. And I'll work on those separately because they have a blue bias to them and I have to color correct them. But so this is what the galaxy sorta is supposed to look like. There's a lot more color to it than you're seeing now, but I just started working on it, so there's a lot to work on here yet. I overexposed it. I should have probably taken some 10 or 15 second RGB images and used that just for the core and just for the stars. But I didn't. And about half the time I do, and about half the time I do not. But at any rate, let's head back and see what Jupiter's doing. It's all going well. We're still capturing, and I don't have a buffering problem, so that's a good thing. So we're on Jupiter. And this is Andromeda, and again, that's that galaxy, those two little sister galaxies that are associated with this big swath of star field and nebulosity. So let's go find us another target to go to. Here's Andromeda. Let's zoom in here. Is this the Pac-Man Nebula? Yeah, NGC1499. So let's go there and let's bring up NGC1499. We need, and we're going to go to NGC281. Let's go find it. And now let's slew to it. And so we're headed over. I'm just kind of going to places that are reasonably close. And so let's open up our imaging software. We need hydrogen alpha to see this. So let's bring up HA and set the filter. And it's spinning around outside. And now we have the HA filter. And let's take a 1 and 20-second picture of the Pac-Man. And fingers crossed that it's in the field of view. Heaven only knows. The reason why I did a sync when I went to M33, the first galaxy, the reason why I synced that is once that the mount and the planetary software are synced, then you're likely to be able to go to various targets in the sky and they're centered in your field of view. That doesn't always happen, but you increase the probability the more time you sync targets because the planetary software conforms to your mount's behavior and the image scale of your camera. We have 34 seconds. Remaining for image NGC1499, the Pac-Man Nebula. This is currently Andromeda M31. We're down to 10 seconds. For the record, Clemson is putting a whooping on Florida State, 24-14. Okay, this is the Pac-Man, and we're going to stretch it. We'll give it a, there's a medium stretch. Let's give it a high stretch. And let's zoom in a little bit, about 100%. Too much, 50%. Well, even 20%. And let's don't stretch this much. Let's just do a medium stretch. Okay, well this is what the Pac-Man looks like. And this is a 2-minute unguided picture. And you can see the stars look pretty sharp. We need to focus the camera, but they need to be, the half flux radius over here is 2.14, and it should be under 1, should be around 1, which means they're not in, stars aren't in focus. But for what I'm doing right now, it's close enough, and when I start imaging later tonight, the California Nebula, it'll be just fine. So let's go back to our planetary software sky chart. Let's go ahead and tell it that we want it to sync this to, and it is centered there, so that's a good thing. Now let's go to M103. Actually, let me go back to this planetary software right here. We want to go to LBN 581. LBN 581. So let's try that. Let's bring up find, and we don't have LBN. So wonder what the other name is for that. Let's see if we got wonder where the seagull is. Let's find out where the seagull is. Oh, seagull is below the horizon. That won't work. And there's NGC1499. Let's just go back to M34, 33. All right, I'm going to go back to this planetary software and okay, that's NGC7822. That's how we'll find it. All right, here we go. NGC7822. We need NGC7822. Find. There it is. And let's slew to it. And it's moved over there. Now let's go take another 2-minute image of this as well, and let's fit the screen, and let's start that. While that image is being captured, let's head back over to our planet and Jupiter that we're imaging, and let's just take a look at it. It hangs awful majestically up there every night, just so faithful, waiting for up imagers like myself, crazy about the sky. There's the great red spot's much easier to see now. I'm just going to let that hang there for a minute. I'm going to go get some coffee. Before I do that, though, I think I'm going to go. I want to make sure. Let's see. We got 34 seconds. I might be in the trees. This is awful close to a pretty good size. We only have one tree problem in my yard, and this may not be high enough in the sky to escape it. We'll find out. Surprise, surprise. 2, 1, 0. Is it there? Yeah, it's there. Okay, we need a medium stretch. Let's do a high stretch. You can make it out. Just a rich area of nebulosity. That nebulosity is actually all over the place, but at the center, it's really kind of wild. So let's go ahead and sync this one too. And telescope sync. Yep, we're right on target. And what is M34? Let's go on over there. I have no idea. M34. Find. Let's slew there. Scope's moving down there. That too is low in the sky. That might be a problem. Okay, let's bring this up. Let's change filters because I know it's not a nebula. Let's just put on the lume filter, set it. So we're changing filters outside. And let's make this a 15-second exposure, and let's see what's there. It might be a globular cluster. Oh, Better take another one of those because the mount's moving. Looks like snow. Yeah, it's a cluster. It's a cluster of stars, and right here in this area, it's exactly what it is. And so, since we've got it centered, we'll go back up to our planetary software and we'll tell it it's also synced. Yep. Now let's go back outside and I'm going to find something else. Don't want that. We've been to Pac-Man. We can go down and check out IC1805, and that's where we'll stay. So let's go back to planetary. Oop, lost it. And let's go to IC, what did I say, 1805? I better make sure before this thing slews some part of the sky. Yeah, 1805. All right. So let's find it. There it is, and let's go there. So our telescope's moving over to IC 1805. And now we'll have to put the hydrogen alpha back up because this is a nebula. And we won't get anything if we don't get a narrowband filter. And let's try a 4-minute exposure and really light this thing up. And while that's doing a 4-minute exposure, we'll go back to Jupiter and watch that while I go get some coffee. I am back. Thank you, Douglas. I went to get coffee and I muted it. But this is the Ephemerades, and it shows us where the Great Red Spot really is as I look at it from my backyard. So when we go back out to our software, too quick, it's right here. The angle of my camera isn't correct. It should be, I should move it about 15, 18, 20 degrees counterclockwise. And I can't remember to do it. But every now and then it's easier. This kind of comes into play, this Great Red Spot. But I started imaging probably around 7:30, and it was just starting. So I have images throughout the night so far of it crossing, and I'll make another time-lapse video of the Great Red Spot. Don't know how it'll turn out. And then over here on this other telescope, this is a picture of the Heart and Soul Nebula. We just took it, and we're going to do a medium stretch. And this is a 4-minute exposure, unguided. And you can see that the stars look pretty decent for unguided. So let's, this is the fish down here. So let's go to our planetarium software and let's sync this target as well. Okay, where else do we want to go? What else do we want to take pictures of? Let's move over here. We got Jupiter in the other scope, and this is way too low in the sky to do M101. That's a nice galaxy. What else do we want to do? We're looking south now. Saturn's just crossed. Let's go to M10, M110. So we're going to go up here, search for M110. Let's go find it. There it is. Now let's slew to it. And there goes the telescope. Let's bring up our imaging software, and we need to take the, I'm pretty sure it's a galaxy. We're going to find out. We'll put on the Loom filter. And so that changed. Let's do a 30-second exposure. Appreciate you letting me know, Douglas, that I had a muted mic. Okay, yeah, this is another galaxy. It's right here. That's what it is. M101 is the sister galaxy to Andromeda. Here's Andromeda. That's right. So this is the little galaxy right next to Andromeda, and I'll show you what it looks like in real time. This is the one I imaged last night. So this is Andromeda that I'm working on, and this is M110 right here. So I took the stars off if you're looking at this for the first time. But last night and the night before I imaged Andromeda, and this is a starless version of the galaxy. This is very close to what our Milky Way galaxy looks like. And if you didn't know, the Milky Way galaxy, our galaxy, and Andromeda are on a collision course, and in 4 billion years they will have collided. Of course, in 4 billion years our sun will have flamed out. But if you're in the market for some insurance, you might want to buy some sun flame out 4 billion year later insurance. It should be pretty cheap. And our collision, Andromeda collision galaxy insurance. Pretty galaxy, but that's what we're looking at. That's this one right here. So, bummer, but we want to go ahead and let sync software know that we are pointed at 110. And we can go over and take a picture of Jupiter. Or look at it. Well, this solar system. Fine. And we'll slew to it. There'll be a long slew. So we'll go outside and watch it. Or we'll turn on the outside cameras. And it's already over there. This is the telescope that's on Jupiter now. Now this one is. So let's bring up planetary software and let's take a 1 second exposure. Let's see what we get. There it is. It's too bright. Let's take a 0.003 second exposure. Alright, let's zoom up. And this is just not a planetary camera, but these are the moons of Jupiter. And let's let the software know we're on Jupiter. Not that software, this software. Okay. This is an elephant trunk. It just transited. We can go there. I think it just transited. Let's see where NGC is it 1496. Hang on a minute. Let's go outside on our. Let's go to this software. Yeah, here's the elephant trunk. What it is IC1396. So let's go to IC1396. It's just across the meridian So it'll have to do a flip. We'll watch it do that. So let's go, let's see. We need to go to find NGC 1396. Let's find it. Whoa, it's not below the horizon. Did I get that right? Or 19, wait a minute. 1396. I got it wrong. Alright. That's what I got. Or is it IC 1396? I don't want to make a boo-boo. Yeah, it's IC 1396. Big difference. Gotta pay attention, Ed. You'll crash this thing into the pier. Alright, let's go. IC 1396. That's why these planetary software programs are so good. There it is, right on the other side of the... Alright, let's make sure our outdoor camera's turned on. We're still connected, so let's go. Let's see, we want to go to and slew. So here we go. Let's go outside and watch it flip. It'll almost be, the weights will almost be horizontal when it stops. The thing will be almost pointing straight up. This is just across the meridian, the northern meridian. Still has a way to go. Yeah, the weights. That's why you don't want to make a mistake and pick something below the horizon, because your telescope will crash into your pier. Okay, we're there. I wonder if we're going to be synced. So let's go outside and see if we can't take a picture of the California Nebula. We're going to need to put some HA up here. So let's bring in some HA. Hey Marvin. Hey Marvin, welcome aboard. How are you doing? And let's take a 2-minute, 40-second. We'll drop this sound down some. Let's take a 2-minute and 40-second image. Yeah, it was a clutch kick. We made a lot of mistakes. We did some very good things and we did some very bad things. So we're counting down now on this image. We should be settled. Yeah. I've got the Florida State Clemson game on now. No, it's not. It's very, very conservative. Okay, let's head over and see what Jupiter's doing while this is taking a long. Four-minute picture. It's a little easier to make out the great red spot. It is to me. I don't know how it looks on your mobile device or on your computer. you really can't probably resolve too much on a mobile device. It almost takes a computer to, and the enhanced resolution of a good monitor. Especially if your eyes are as old as my eyes. The California Nebula is a massive area of nebulosity that looks like the state of California. I took it a couple of years ago, and let me go to my, whoop, that's dormant. Let's go to my Astrobin page and sign on, and I'll go to my page, and I'll go down here and find it. Here it is. This is what the California Nebula looks like when I'm finished with it. Pretty part of the sky. I think I took that last year at this time. So I'm going to re-image it and see if I can't get some better detail. Yeah, sort of does look like a sunset. Okay, let's head back out to Jupiter. Let's head over to, probably needed a guide for this. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's guide, take another one. And let's bring this back up. Let's take another one. While that's starting to capture, I want to stretch this. And this is the area of nebulosity that we're going to be going after. So we're in the right ballpark. We just, the telescope was drifting at the time of the long exposure. So by guiding, corrections will be sent to the mount to keep that from happening. Oh, look at that. It's terrible. Oh my goodness, what's going on? I'm going to stop this altogether. I'm going to disconnect all that gear. I'm going to connect it back up. I'll start looping, find a guide star, and start guiding again. See if that settles things down. That's better. I don't know about your gear, but my gear often, if guiding is just crazy, I just shut everything down and restart it. It's kind of like it gets it in its head to do screwy things, and it's nothing I can do to change it, so I just shut it completely. Sometimes I just close the whole program and open it back up. The telescope isn't going anywhere. Okay, this one isn't going to be good though, because the telescope is doing nutsy things during this whole exposure. So this, we have 130 seconds left. I'm going to go ahead and stop it. Now that the guiding's settled down, I'm going to take another one. We'll come back and look at it in a minute. In the meantime, let's head over to Jupiter. I'll show you what I imaged last night. I was live last night, and right after the football game, I came home and I finished Andromeda, and I finished taking it. I haven't processed it yet. This is the Andromeda galaxy with the stars removed. I'll work on the stars separately, but this is the Andromeda galaxy starless version. But I like to do the colors still not really right. It had a lot of HA. I took a lot of hydrogen alpha, and the red that you see are star formation regions of the galaxy where a lot of hydrogen is present. And so it goes. Beautiful spiral galaxy, and this is M110, another sister galaxy. Like it. And of course, we've been imaging Jupiter. I've been imaging Jupiter since almost 7:30, and we're done. So we're going to start up another imaging session. Capture, start capture. We're going to take another 40. So we're going to start capturing another 4,000 frame AVI files, because I want to get another time lapse of Jupiter's great red spot. If you didn't see the time lapse that I did the other night when I was doing this as well, I'll find it here real quick. Let's go to 2022 October. Is it Jupiter? And we'll open this up with what do we got to open it up with? It's a GIF file. I can't open it up, and I need to have software to open it up in. I'll make my window bigger so you can see it. But this is the great red spot moving across the face of Jupiter, and I just took a number of images and I made a movie out of them. That's about 4 hours of transit, maybe 3.5 hours of imaging going on into this GIF file. Pretty cool. And I'm doing that again tonight. So if the scene is okay, it'll be similar to this. It won't be much better than this. Okay, let's go back over to, oh, it's even worse. Oh, we haven't finished yet. Here we go. It can't be worse because we're guiding. How's the guiding going? Guiding's going great, so this will be good. This will be a good one. 3, 2, 1, bingo. All right, let's do a stretch. Let's do another stretch. And so this is, yeah, I'll put it up there just a second. So this is the elephant trunk area of nebulosity. And right after it transits. So here I have a request to go back to Andromeda Galaxy. So here she is. Now, this is the starless version. Here are the stars. I removed the stars from the image, and because they're all blue and they need to be color calibrated so that they have the right color. Some of them have different colors, but they've been oversaturated, so I have to fix that. Then I'll add the stars back to the image. But when you're processing the image, for me it's better to do it without the stars because they're already almost always saturated. They're very bright, and the signal for stars is much brighter than the signal from this galaxy. And since I'm taking long exposure, the stars will be sometimes oversaturated, overexposed. And anything you do to the galaxy, if the stars are included in that image, can just screw around with your stars. So I like to remove them, process the galaxy without the stars, and then I'll add them back using a pixel math equation. This process right over here where I just add, I'll show you, let me, that's called Starless 1. So let me bring up my expression editor. I'll come down here to Starless 1 and I'll say plus, and then I want to add the stars. So where are my stars? Is it star clone? Yeah, star clone. Plus stars clone. So I'm going to add them back. And I'll click OK. I'm going to go down here. Well, what happened? Let's see. You can go to sleep. Now, let's go back. I'm going to come down here. I want to create a new image. I want the color space to be RGB color. That's all I'm going to do. And then if I just throw that over here, drop it, it creates a new image with the stars added back. And so that's how that works. But I don't want this image because the stars are all screwy until I can fix them. So I'll delete it, delete that, and I'll continue to work on this until this is much bluer than I want it, much bluer than it is right now. And so I'll fix that. Okay, let's go somewhere else in the sky. Let's go, where do we want to go? Let's go over here. We'll go over here and do Andromeda. We've done it already, but let's go back and do it again. So M31 is Andromeda. It didn't go. And so let's slew to Andromeda, and let's bring out our outside camera. Oh, we're guiding, so it's telling me we're screwed up here. Let me stop that. All right, let's go back out to this and also to our outside camera. And make sure the telescope isn't running into anything. It's trying to connect right now. And so it's moving over. And it's on Andromeda now. We hope. Let me get rid of this. We don't need it anymore. And we'll bring that back up. So let's go to our software and let's bring up our, we don't need HA, we need, let's do a green filter image of it. And let's take about 60 seconds of Andromeda. Stop this and let's take one. So hopefully you won't see a lot of the galaxy because, and I'll show you what I mean about star signal and galaxy signal, and you'll understand why it's often better off separating your stars from your galaxy and working on them independently so that you've calibrated the colors. There's two processes involved in that. One of them is called photometry, and it involves calibrating your picture by comparing it to a real sky view of correct star color, and it matches it for you and it color corrects your stars for you. And it's software called photometric calibration. And there's Andromeda. So you see the stars are pretty bright and the core of the galaxy is pretty bright. Here's that smaller galaxy off to the right, and then we have this other galaxy. This is M110, Messier 110, and this is Messier. But you can see the stars have a lot of signal, but the galaxy is about this big and you don't see much of it at all. So I'll stretch this and you'll start seeing some of it. I just overexpose it, that's what I'm doing. And you start seeing some of the bands like we have here, these bands right here, but this signal is just all missing. And these dark dust clouds that you see that give it its width, they're just almost non-existent in one image. So that's why I took about 8 hours of exposure time and put all those images together to make one. That's what you have to do. So that's Andromeda. Where else do we want to go? We can go to M33. That's a galaxy. And we can slew there. And we're moving down here just a short ways to M33. And we need the luminance filter now. So let's go back to luminance. Let's change the filter from green to clear. And let's take a 30-second exposure. It's a clear filter. It has a light pollution. It's a light pollution filter. In theory, it's supposed to filter out some of the light pollution, but it's a real struggle to do that. And there's not a lot of clear glass that has really a lot of ability to do that. Now the narrowband filters HA, O3, S2, those will do it. Okay, you're not going to see much. We'll do a high stretch, but here is the galaxy. It's a face-on spiral galaxy, whereas Andromeda is kind of an edge-on spiral galaxy. This is looking right at you. Zoom up. And you can see we've got some drift in this 30-second image. But at any rate, that's what the galaxy, it's got spirals all the way around it. And let me see if I got an example of that. Let's go to my other page and let's go back to my home screen, and let's see if I've got, that's M101. These are some images I've taken over time. I'm trying to look and see. I know I've taken it. I don't know if I've put it up here or not. Come on, go down, go down, go down. These are a lot of Andromeda images. This is the best Andromeda image I've ever taken. And it's one of the first images I took of deep space. And this is one of the very first I took. So this is M32, M110, and but this is what the one you currently looked at hopefully will look more like. I took this with a DSLR camera, a Nikon D800E that was modified for astronomy, and I took this on a Nikon 200 by 400 f4 lens, which is a very good lens, and I took it at about 300 millimeters to get it all in. That's one of my favorite pictures of I don't know that I can do any better than that as far as detail and color. I don't guess I have a pinwheel up here. Is this pinwheel? Yeah, here it is. There's the pinwheel galaxy. Let's make it bigger. And it's a pretty galaxy. It's got a lot of hydrogen alpha in it as well. So M33, big time. Okay, let's go back out to, that's the pinwheel. And I'm waiting around to shoot the California Nebula because it's going to be, we're going to be starting it pretty shortly, but let me delete M33 here. And but this is the California Nebula right here. And last night I took, I got 20 images in. First you kind of understand that my field of view of the camera and telescope that I have right now will not get the whole nebula in. So I've divided it up into a mosaic, and I'm taking the upper half and the lower half. This is the lower half, and this series will be the upper half. Last night I took primarily the upper half, and I got 35 images at 240 seconds of hydrogen alpha, and I got 40 images at 300 seconds of oxygen, and then 15, I got 10 images. I got 30 images last night. I didn't get 40. This is how many I got. This is how many I wanted, or how many I want when it's all done. So tonight, I'm going to start with the lower half, and I hope to get another 15 hydrogen alpha, so I'll have 35. I need 40 O3, and I need 15 S2. And I have 5 hours and 20 seconds to do that in. I've got 1 hour and 10 seconds to do the rest of this, which is a total of 6 hours and 30 seconds for both of these targets. The problem I'm having is that they're not high enough in the sky to start imaging. Right now, it's right here at 24 degrees. Like if I point here, look right here, and you can see when I point to where it is in the sky, this vertical line intersects with my horizon line. Now the horizon line is actually 0, but I don't like to image until I get at least 30 degrees, which is about where this yellow line is. Actually, I got it set at 28 because I wanted to start early. and right now we're at 25 degrees. So by 10:30, let's see, right here is 11 o'clock. 10:45, which is 30 minutes from now, is probably when I'll start. Actually, I'm going to try to do something. Let me change the horizon to 21, and so we're above it. We'll go ahead and slew to it. I may be in the trees, probably will be, but let's go ahead and slew to it, see what happens. And yeah, we don't need to get the outside camera. So we're slewing to the California Nebula. Lower half, the lower half of the California Nebula. We're there, so let's center it. It's going to plate solve. While it's plate solving, let me bring up my guiding software and clear things out. Start looping and ready to guide. I'm afraid that what's going to happen is no, we don't have trees. Take another one. Let's do it again. Center. The mount hadn't stopped moving when it took its first picture, so it can't plate solve with these elongated lines. It needs sharp stars to do the plate solving. More coffee, more coffee. Okay. We're off. We're right on target for right ascension. We're 55 pixels off in declination. And I want this to be inside of 50 pixel error, and we're 55, so it'll be fine now. It'll correct it this time. It should be perfecto. Yep, we're 2 pixels off in right ascension, and we're 2 pixels off in declination. So we're exactly where we were last night when I was imaging this. So let's go ahead and start. We got nothing to lose. I'll just have to throw these away if they're too if there's too much pollution, if the signal's swamped out. So we're going to go ahead and run sequence. And the first thing you can see what's doing down here. It's waiting. It wants to wait until 10:46 to start. And the reason why is because I've got right here to start at 10:46. So I'm going to uncheck that. I'm going to go ahead and pause, and then I'm going to click OK. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to click abort. And then I'm going to click resume. Okay. Now it's slewing to the target because it assumes, since it's not guided, that I may have drifted off. So it's going to do another plate solve, which was what we just did to center the target. And it's doing what it's supposed to do, so it's doing the same thing, and it shouldn't take it any time at all because we haven't gone very far if we've gone anywhere. And when it's finished with this, it will then start the autofocus routine. It'll put the right filter in place, which will be hydrogen alpha, and it will automatically change that over there, and it will then it's starting the auto guider right now, which is this software right here. And then it's setting the HA filter, so it's changing this, so the filter is going to become HA, and now it's starting an image. Should have ran an autofocus, I don't know why it didn't. So it's taking the first image, and you can't see it because the exposure time was so short that you can't see the nebula. But when it finishes taking this 240-second image, you'll see some of the nebula. But because we are so low in the sky, we're shooting over rooftops, we're shooting over light pollution, and that is being confused with signal. And this is a rich nebula, but it's hard for the camera, which is trying to record this information, to distinguish between what is nebula signal and what is light pollution signal. And we call that swamping out your signal. The pollution swamps the signal out. So it's why you don't really want to shoot too low in the sky. And right now, where my house is located, I'm pointed almost straight over the city of Spartanburg. And although I'm out of Spartanburg a good ways, we're so close that you can see the glow from the city if you just go stand outside. And then you have the heat from the rooftops, and we had a pretty warm day today, and that just adds some thermal instability low in the sky. So the higher I go in the sky, the better my signal. And I look over here at the mean. In order to have a good signal to noise ratio, this needs to be in the 2000 or less range. And it's not going to happen when I'm this low in the sky. So what I do is I go ahead and start taking pictures, and then when I blink through them before I start processing, I usually just delete them because they're worthless. There's not enough signal. There's more noise than there's more phony signal than there is real signal. But the fun's doing it. And since we're live, we'll go ahead and get started. So we're taking our first of a total of 6 hours and 27 minutes of exposure time tonight. Now, I'm not going to stay up with this. I'm going to probably stay live until 11 o'clock tonight and make sure that we're on our way getting this galaxy under wraps. And then I'm going to probably call it a night. I also want to shoot Jupiter. Let's go over and watch Jupiter while this is doing its thing. I want to shoot Jupiter until in fact, let's see where the great red spot is right now. Real time. So the great red spot is just about, it's going to, whoa. Looks like we're going to have a moon. I may have to stay up and do this some more. I'm going to advance this. Watch this moon, and I don't know which one this is. Okay. In a minute, you're going to see a shadow because the sun is way over here. The sun is here. There's a shadow. And it's cascading across the planet this way. So here's the moon, and here's the shadow of this moon. So you can tell, it's exactly what's going on. This is a model of Jupiter. This isn't anything I've taken. This is software that shows exactly how. This is called the Ephemerides solution, and what it shows is the real-time view of what Jupiter would look like, Marvin. So here we have the moon. We have this moon too, and so you see the shadow as you advance the time. In a minute, this moon will be in the dark. There comes the moon, and so you can tell by the shadow which way the sun is shining. And it's the sun that lights up Jupiter. Were it not for the sun, we wouldn't see it. Unlike a star, which emits its own light, these planets get their light from our sun. And this is 780 million miles away. It takes 1 hour and 15 minutes for this light to get to me. So you won't see that moon, but it'll come out of the image. It'll come out of the image. Yes, it's a modeling program. It's exactly what it is. Now, the other night, I did process some Jupiters, and some turned out pretty good. I don't think we can say any of them were great, but let me. It's good for my kit. Let me bring up. Get off of my messy screens here, where I got my email, my text, my everything else, and we're going to open up. We took this in October. Jupiter. This is one that I took last week. So this is a Jupiter that was taken last week. And matter of fact, this is what I did. This is what we did last week. We took this picture of IC 1848. We took this picture of NGC 7822, and we took Jupiter. And we took a Saturn picture. Let me see if that's up there too. Yeah. Let me get rid of this and bring this one over. So we have Saturn. You saw the Jupiter. And we had Saturn. So 2 weeks ago, or 10 days ago, when we had clear skies before the rain came, we were doing live. I was doing a lot of live, and you guys were on. And we took Saturn, this nebula one night, or 2 nights, and this nebula over the next 2 nights. And that's what we got. So we should be done with the first California Nebula. In fact, we're getting ready to add another one. So let's look at it. There you go. There it is. The bottom half. And we'll give it a medium stretch. And so this is the bottom half, and it's going to be interfaced with the top half. So we just got to collect more data. Actually, there's more signal there than I thought there would be, given how low it is in the sky. But do a low stretch. I guess we did a low stretch. Oh yeah, no, it's not good. I thought that was a medium stretch. That's a low. No, it's not going to be good. It's too much. The sky looks too much like it's kind of milky and muddy. I thought I'd already stretched this, but if this is a low stretch view of the image, then we got. We're still at 3,000. We need to be 2 or under. I like it around 1,000 mean, but I'll take 2,000 and work on those. All right, back over to Jupiter, and I'm going to take a break. I'm going to let this just hang in the sky while there's a great red spot right there. Uh, 60,000. There's 60,000, roughly 60,000. Oh, no. 43,000. 60 involves another number. There's 43,000 objects loaded in the planetary software programs. Everything within the magnitude of my ability to image or see with conventional telescopes. You mean, can I go from place to place to place? Yes, I do it all the time. In fact, that's what we did earlier tonight. We went from galaxy to nebula to galaxy, taking a short image of 6 or 7 or 8 or so different things. We were picking different targets from the planetary software and going there. Star hopping. He's not by himself. Marvin, were you surprised to see that Boiling Springs gave Gaffney a game? It's kind of hard to get up sometimes. Probably the same thing happened to Gaffney that happened to Dorman when we played Malden. Yeah, that happened with Dorman and Malden. J.L. Mann beat Malden last night. Now we rested several players from the at the Malden game. Foster didn't play. Several defensive players didn't play. They were banged up. They decided just to give them a week rest. Yeah. Well, they're fighting for their life. They probably intended to do that, but they set some key kids out, not thinking they would need them. I think lessons were learned there by this coaching staff. Yeah, we did. You'll be glad to know that he's a strong man of faith. A great witness to these kids. I'm really pleased with him. He taught Sunday school in Columbia when he was down there. Was active, very active in FCA. Yeah, sure can. Yeah, that was a game, wasn't it? I think Pickering and I, we did that game on the radio. We called that game from the press box. It's probably the only game, dormant game I ever went to that I didn't photograph it. I may have laughed at you then too. It didn't look good. Demetrius Summers was quite a lad. Yeah, we did. At the old Dorman. Satterfield was a frustrated man. Dave Gutshaw at his very best. I just saw where LSU defeated the Florida Gators 45-35. I didn't think that would happen. Yes. No, I keep a guide camera on it, and it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. If the scene is good, then it's a good thing because there's not many corrections. But if the scene is bad, then the guide camera is trying to correct for bad scene and it can't do it, and it's sending pulses to the mount that do not need to be sent, and that causes the planet to jump around. So it really just depends on the sky and how it's behaving, whether I'm going to stay with a guiding. But it will pretty much ensure that Jupiter stays in my crosshairs. And because I leave this and go over to the other telescope sometime for 20, 30, 40 minutes, I want to make sure when I come back nothing crazy has happened to Jupiter or to my telescopes. So by guiding, I kind of ensure that it's going to be okay. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean my images are going to be okay, because if there's too many erratic pulses sent and Jupiter does too much jumping around, I may not be able to pull enough good frames out to have a good image. But I take a lot of the frames, and so I'm just kind of using the law of large numbers here to and out of 4,000 frames, I'll keep 10% or 400. I'll get rid of the rest and stack just those 400s in that one video file. But here's Jupiter, and here's the guide camera, and it's running. I don't need these trend lines, so, and it's running at a RMS of 1.18, which is not that good. I like for this to be under 1, but it's fine. And these are corrections that's being made right now. The blue vertical lines, the guide camera and the telescope heads in this direction, and it sends a pulse to bring it back down. Then it has to send another pulse to bring it back up, and another pulse to bring it back down, and that's scene conditions. The star isn't moving. In reality, the star isn't moving at all, but the atmosphere is turbulent, and it gives the star the appearance of moving. And the mount doesn't know that. It just wants to send corrections to keep the crosshairs on the star. The blue line is right ascension, and the red line is declination. I don't know. I never heard of historicity. Don't know what that is. Yeah, then I guess it's sort of kind of doing that. We call it hysteresis. Hysteresis, if that's what you mean, is the algorithm that I use. Sometimes the hysteresis algorithm right here to smooth out. Yeah. That's it. Now I do have to pay attention to when Jupiter transits, because let's just go outside. I'm going to go outside and look at the cameras, or look at when I say I'm going outside, I'm just turning on the observation cameras that are outside aimed at my telescopes, and I can see them from inside. Okay. This telescope right now is imaging Jupiter, and you can see the weights are getting pretty high. And when they get actually horizontal, that's when we have hit the meridian. And in order for the telescope to keep imaging without running into the mount, if the weights kept going up and the mount kept coming down, or the telescope kept coming down, then it would eventually run into this pier. So to keep that from happening, we flip the mount. So what happens is the telescope ends up on this side aiming up, and the weights end up on this side, and the telescope goes up and the weights come down. So we have to cross the meridian by flipping the mount. Now, my systems are set up to do it automatically, but I'm manually in control of this right now, so nothing automatic is going to happen. So I have to pay attention so that this thing doesn't get out of control. I could, for example, go over to the other telescope and spend the next 30 or 40 minutes watching the California Nebula data to come in, or get sidetracked doing something else, and come back and find out that I have a crisis on my hands. So I'm going to show you more about what that looks like. So if we go to our planetarium software and we go over to the south, you can see that here's, let me make sure I'm in real time. Yeah. So here's Jupiter, and it's going to cross the ecliptic. This is the ecliptic. We're going to the celestial equator. We're going to cross the meridian right here, and that's when the weights are horizontal and the weight bar, everything's horizontal. So that's when we flip them out. So I've got, right now it's 10:45, and if I just click on Jupiter and go up here to information, I can zoom in to find Jupiter. Okay, and I click on data. It'll tell me that it's going to transit at 11:56, which is a little over an hour from now. So it'll take an hour for it'll spin around. It'll take an hour for that. For Jupiter, we're an hour away. Each one of these lines, by the way, represent about an hour of time. From here to here, it's about an hour. So. And right now, we're over here imaging the California Nebula, which is, and the moon's just getting ready to come up, the doggone thing, and it brings up a mess. Here's Mars, but here's the California Nebula right here. This, I haven't hit it yet. Let me zoom in. There's a California Nebula, and there's a few of the California Nebula with hydrogen alpha only filter. It's real red. The hydrogen alpha will render a red image. Okay. Yeah, I'll stop getting technical. But this is what we're imaging right now. And I may go to Mars later on tonight, probably after I've signed off, because let's see, Mars will be in a good place around 12:30. I'm not going to stay up for that. Let's see. Maybe 12. Maybe 12 I could get some images of Mars. Next month, if I advance this 1 month and say this is 11/16, then Mars will be 1 month from now. Mars will be imageable. Let's move it backwards. Next month at this time at 9 o'clock, Mars will be a good place. So Mars is one of those November targets. Yeah, Mercury's a challenge because you have to image Mercury right after the sun is set, but before Mercury follows it. So you got to have a good view of the horizon in the west northwest, and I don't. I have a fence right behind me, so I don't. And so it's a tough one. I don't, probably will never have Mercury. And other than that, when you see the sun, you see Mercury. So you have to catch Mercury when the sun is set, but Mercury is still, and it's almost like you're in twilight. So you can still get it. Venus is easy to image. It's just doesn't render a lot of detail. It's very bright, one of the brightest lights in the sky. Some people call it the oh, what is it called? They call it a star. What is it? I forget what they call it. All right, let's hang in there. I was going to take a break and yeah, cut a hole in my fence. I've got some telescopes that are mobile. I call them my travel scopes. That I can always go to we have some land out south of Packett, about 400 acres that's clear. Some of it's very clear, and it's right before you get to Packlet, between Spartanburg and Packlet. And it's dark, good skies out there. I need to put an observatory out there with a roll-off roof that I can control, but I'm too old. I can't justify spending money on something like that at age 78. I'll just deal with what I got. Yeah, the Roper Mountain Astronomers has a dark sky site. It's the Furman Observatory out off of Highway 11, and they have some good skies. There's some good skies further up the Blue Ridge. As dark as we're going to find in southeast, with the exception of the islands off the coast of North Carolina, which are some of the darkest in the country. Okay, I'm going to show you how fancy I am. Check this out. Is that fancy or what? Be right back. Get rid of that. What, did I misspell something? I'm still a one finger typer. And when it comes to the cell phone, I hardly ever type. I use that voice, the iPhone thing down there. You hit the microphone and you can talk. It does a better job of spelling than I do. I can make it scrolly now. Should I say? Just streaming software that I use. It's made by Ecamm, E-C-A-M-M. It's for Mac users only, and it works pretty good. I can figure it out. If I can figure it out, it works pretty good, because it's not my strength. As they say, it's not in my wheelhouse. By the way, that great red spot is 10,000 miles wide. The United States, we're about 3,300 miles wide from Atlantic to Pacific. So that storm is about 3 times as wide as the United States is. I had to add that. Let's head over and see what the California Nebula is looking like. Yeah, we've come down from 3,000 to 2,700, but we're getting higher in the sky. Still, we're awfully, we're around 31 degrees, I guess, at 11 o'clock. 30, 31 degrees altitude. That's pretty low. We're shooting through a lot of turbulent atmosphere at that altitude. Ooh, loud music. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's just type in no, NGC1499. I don't remember. It's 1,000 light years away. It's telling us here that it's being illuminated by this bright star right here. I'm looking up here. So 1,000 light years. What does that mean? So this star right here is putting out so much light that the gases are being lit up by this star. I think it's a star. Yes. If you could travel at the speed of light, it would take you 1,000 years to get there. So you're exactly right. We're looking back in history to 1000 AD, 1022 AD. Sure are. So as this light comes in, those photons have been on the move at the rate of 186,000 miles per second. 186,000 miles per second means that if you were at the equator of our planet, you could travel around it 7.5 times in 1 second. That's how fast light's moving. So if you could travel at that speed, it would take you 1,000 years to get there. So it's amazing those little photons can fight their way through our atmosphere and render any kind of an image on our sensors, but they do. So does this look like, what does this nebula look like right now? Has there been much change in 1,000 years? I don't know. It's certainly changed, but is it noticeable? I don't know. Occasionally I'm asked, you image the same thing every year? And I do. I image a lot of the same targets every year, and what I like to do is I like to go back to last year or 2 years ago and pull up the same image and lay one on top of each other and blink back and forth and see if anything's moving. See if anything shows up that wasn't in the other image or is missing that was in the other image. So I like to compare from year to year and over larger spans of time, just to see. Fun things to do on a cloudy night if you don't have to take pictures or process pictures or work of any kind. So uh-oh, sounds like we have guiding problems. Nope. But it's not good. Guiding's pretty rough, as a matter of fact. restart stuff. Let's go back over and hang around Jupiter for a while. I'm going to go ahead and I think shut Jupiter down. I'm going to go ahead and shut Jupiter down. I've got all of the images that I intended to have. I'm going to go to Wingy Post. The red spot's gone. Well, let me go real time. I don't know if it is or not. Yeah, it's about gone. I may take a few more. So I have to midnight. So let's start another capture session. Let's take another 10. Excuse me. And that should be and I'll go ahead and park this telescope and shut it down. Say goodnight to everyone. Wish them a great rest of the weekend after these 10. And we'll let this other one run all night without me around. Peace out to you too. Catch you guys later. I'm 10 minutes from signing off. Same to you. I know we got some hurt kids, by the way. I don't know how hurt. We got some banged up kids. I'm sure they're been in whirlpools this morning trying to iron out some of the wrinkles, but they got beat up pretty bad last night. And I will catch you later. Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and let this run out, but I'm going to go sign off and bid everybody a good night. I will catch you later. I'm going to try to find my sign off, whatever I got. And it is somewhere around here, and it's where I say goodnight.